The idea of the concert originated almost by chance. I went to the library of Baruch College because at that time I was working on the idea to edit a book about the history of the Weizmann School of Arts and Sciences. And during that visit to the archives, the archivist basically told me, maybe you want to publish this picture. And I said, oh, sounds interesting. What's that picture all about? I said, that's the old building in which the vertical campus is located today. So I said, oh, that's interesting. And what was that building? And she said, well, that is the former RCA Victor Studios in New York. And when she said that, I got goosebumps. I knew that was the place where my father began his recording career in the United States, in those very studios that are located exactly in this location where I'm working today. So I made that comment to Ted Altshuler, the director of the Baruch Performing Arts Center.
The Sony Corporation moved 2 blocks down the street from Baruch College, and we knew that Baruch had been on the site of the RCA Victor Studios, and Sony owns RCA Victor today. So I thought, what a wonderful opportunity for a legacy project of some kind. They're in the neighborhood, they own the label, we have a live performance space and an audience who likes live music. Wouldn't it be great to put that together?
And he said, well, why don't we do something with your father's music?
It became a no-brainer that that should be our first concert.
Well, once the idea of making a concert about my father's music came about in my conversation with Ted Altshuler, the question was, can we find musicians here in New York who can perform that music? Because Venezuelan music, my father's music in particular, is rather complex. So I contacted Elizabeth Rossi, my father's widow in Venezuela, and asked her, do you know of Venezuelan musicians that I can find here in New York who would be able to perform my father's music? And she immediately told me about Selene Quiroga. I contacted her, and she in turn contacted other Venezuelan musicians here in the US, not only in New York City, but also in Denver, Colorado.
It's very interesting because the situation that is going through in Venezuela right now allows us to do a concert here in the United States with Venezuelan musicians very easily. I recorded my album in Venezuela mainly, and most of the musicians are now in the United States.
And that's how we put together all those elements of Venezuelan musicians that were able to understand and do all that rhythm. At the same time, we incorporated the Alexander String Quartet, which are fantastic musicians and got pretty much very easily the way my father wanted that kind of music being performed. I'd also incorporated the Blue Notes, the a cappella group here at Baruch.
I thought really part of the fun was to pull all of those people together, figure out what they each needed from each other, and how to give them the resources to do it.
The next piece that's going to be performed is tan 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 tan, which is the, because I want this to have as much richness and diversity as possible, because I wasn't sure about the audience response to this. Most of that audience had never listened to that kind of music. It's quite different, and I decided to present a diverse, I would say, a spectrum of different type of music that my father wrote, from very popular Venezuelan type of music to more academic type of music. And I think it worked out very well.
We have more. So we have a coda. Do you have coda? That's the coda. Yeah. But it's from all right. We have a fermata on that. Yes. You stop singing when they stop playing.
But I don't have anything to sing.
You were doing fine.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to sing. Yeah.
The reason why I felt comfortable conducting my father's music is twofold. One is I know that music very well, not only by having listened to it many times, but also by being at the studios when my father recorded the music, and also when he was performing it live and by attending the rehearsals. When I was 4 years old, I started to mimic at home my father's mannerism when it comes to conducting. And he saw me and said, "You conduct almost identically to me, and you have sense of rhythm." And he decided to take me to his shows and to actually guest conduct his orchestra when I was just 4 years old. So I heard from my father things he was telling the musicians on how to interpret particular pieces. And I think I have been very fortunate to be able to follow up his steps in terms of portraying the music the way he intended to be performed. That doesn't mean that, of course, when a new generation of musicians come up with a new arrangements or new views, I think that's fantastic. I think my father always said, what is important is that you have really your music being played by others, regardless of the arrangement. And I think he will be very happy to see that's happening today.
I love Aldemaro Romero's music. I can relate easily to his search to bring together classical and folkloric music together. So that's something that I like to do as well. So that's part of the reason why I chose Aldemaro Romero. The music works, so we worked, and all the musicians were great musicians, were professionals. So that's part of the thing that we were doing. But I think Alexander String Quartet, they really enjoyed this music. I could tell that it was something really different for them, but I think they had a great time, and they did it wonderful. I mean, I think everything was put together very well. El Catire had the most people on stage, and basically all the musicians were playing. So I think El Catire required like all of our effort, not because it was a difficult piece, but because everybody was playing it.
I was also involved with translating some of the lyrics for one of the songs. I couldn't make head or tail of it. It was in vernacular Venezuelan Spanish, and I had to work with Dean Romero to understand it first of all, and then I did my best to provide some kind of English equivalent. Well, I mean, one is always proud to see one's work, I think, right? I think I hope that what I did communicated the sense of the thing. It's always difficult to get the exact sense of slang in one language into something that's both comprehensible in the other language, but at the same time preserve something of the feel of the original. I think it came off all right.
I really liked the fact that this project brought together many players in the college community.
Dean Romero contacted me to find an arranger for one of the pieces on the program, and I thought, well, I could do it. Dean Romero gave me 3 different versions of the song, 2 different recordings, and also a score that didn't match the recordings. And at first I wasn't sure if he wanted me to match the arrangement to one of those, and I finally decided I should just present the song in the best way possible in the circumstances, given the singer and the string quartet. So I selected ideas from the different versions and tried to do what I thought would work best for the string quartet, and also added some of my own ideas.
in the string, I have to be synchronized exactly with 4, 3, 2, 1. There were a number of pieces that were accompanied by videos, and in some cases those videos had to be very well synchronized with the music. So that meant that there were a lot of different elements that had to come together.
I heard from many people how much they loved the playfulness of some of the musicians, and particularly our contrabass player, Gonzalo Teppa, who had a lovely moment in the concert where he rescued our pianist because her microphone had been left off inadvertently, and did it without missing a beat.
I remember there were like amazing moments when Gonzalo Teppa started improvising and whistling. That was like just amazing. I really enjoyed playing with Gonzalo Teppa and Jorge Glem. We did a couple of pieces, just voice, cuatro, and bass. And I remember those two pieces like with very good emotional, very good memories. But yes, I think the pieces where I was just singing with the two of them were amazing because they are such a wonderful musicians. They just start to improvise, and then you start doing it as well. And I felt we were kind of in a cloud, like all the three of us together, and it was very, very nice, very musical.
I heard from so many people how impressed they were with the lead artist, Selene Quiroga, and how she was an equally good pianist and singer, and how rare that is, that she could just simply do one so beautifully and then hop to the other role and do that equally as well. A lot of people really impressed with her talent.
The audience was really thrilled with the music. They were happy. They were like, we didn't expect to see this in the concert, and they were just amazed. So I remember all those good comments, and it made me happy.
To me, the most emotional part of the concert was when we did the reprise of the concert with the Negro Jose. Is when I brought my grandson to the stage and sat him on my lap, and he played a few notes there. Also, I was very pleased to see the criticism that was published about the concert. I mean, it was glowing, and to me, not only was a great homage to my father's music, but also for all the people who were involved in this concert from the technical viewpoint to the artistic viewpoint.
It really it made me happy that he was able to get to know, for example, Jorge Glem, Gonzalo Teppa, these amazing musicians. I loved when he said that Jorge Glem was the Jimi Hendrix of the cuatro. That's true, so that was perfect. And that he enjoyed it.
Pero está